Okay, in this video we will talk about the fillnull and the filldown command in Splunk. Okay, so these are very two simple command in Splunk but very useful command. Okay, so we will try to see how they works and other stuff like whatever the inputs they have and those stuff today. Okay, so to start with, we'll first start with fillnull and then we will move to filldown. Now fillnull, as the name suggests, like it replaces the null value for a particular field with some specified value. Okay, and that specified value can be an input like this one. This will be the input of that fillnull command. Okay, where you can give the value you want to replace with that particular for that particular null value. Okay, now by default, fillnull, if you don't give any field list, it applies for all the fields in that particular event. Okay, now if you give the field list, field name over here, you need to give, you cannot give wildcarded field name here. Okay, you have to give the exact field name here. So over there you can, it will just, if you give the field list like comma separated list of field name over here, it will only replace for those particular fields over here. Okay, and another thing is that if you don't give any value, it will by default replace with 0. Okay, so that's the overall functionality of the fillnull command. Okay, now let us try to see an example here, then we will see like how the filldown works over here. Okay, so for that what I have done is I created a data, very simple data I have created so that we'll understand how they works. Okay, so let's say I am working on a couple of projects. Let's say project 1111 and project 2222. Okay, and each and every project has different tasks. Like if you see here, task for the project 1 we have these 4 tasks: task 11, 12, 13 and 14. Okay, and for the project 2 we have 2 tasks, task 21 and 22 over here. Okay, now how these events are getting created: whenever I am starting a task over here, okay, so I am creating an event something like this one. Okay, and then when the new task event is coming up, we'll assume that our previous task has been completed, then only we are basically starting a new task over here. Okay, so it is we are automatically assume that the task 1 has been completed, then only we are starting with task 1 2. So we are not going to complicate our this project and task related stuffs. So it is very simplistic scenario over here. Okay, so one task completed, then only we are taking a new task in hand. Okay, so there is no parallel, we are executing a lot of tasks over here. Okay, so task 1, if you see, we started on 15th and it went for another 2 days, 16th and 17th, then 18th 11 we started with task 1 to the second task in hand over here. Okay, similarly when we executing the project, so we first completing the project 1111, then we are moving to project 2222 over here. Okay, so it's a kind of waterfall way we are working over here. Okay, so this is the overall data. Now the same data I have indexed here as well. So if I just go to search and reporting app, and if I just go to main index here, okay, and if I just see it for all time, so I have 6 events over here. Okay, so with all of this data. Okay, so now the initial problem we will try to solve is total how many days it take to complete both of these projects. If you see, we started from 15th of December 2009, right, and we are completing on 25th of December. That means 11 days, right? We have taken including that day of 15th over here, right? So we will try to compute that one. Okay, so let us try to do that one first. So for that what we can do is, so let me show you the data over here. So if I just table this all these four columns over here: project ID, project name, task ID and task name over here. Okay, now if you see, one thing is we have data like 15th of December, then we have the second event we have created on for 18th of December over here. Now if you want to calculate the days between this, because we want to calculate the overall total date it has taken to complete these 2 projects together, right? So then we have to basically know the intermediate dates as well, right? That means we have to fill the intermediate dates as well over here. Okay, now there are a couple of commands in Splunk which we still not discussed, but I will be creating a video for that one very soon. Okay, so I'll just copy paste those one so that we will, and I'll try to explain those one as well. It's called bin and mv expand, sorry, make continuous. Okay, so bin is used, okay, if I just remove this one, okay, bin is used to basically make this underscore time as 1 day. Suppose if you have in your event every 10 minutes you are getting events in your data, right? So if you say bin span equals to 1 day, so all those events which are generated for today, each and every 10 minutes will have same date and timestamp for this particular day, today, let's say. Okay, so similarly, so this is how bin works. So it converts the underscore time into the corresponding span we are giving it over here. Okay, if you are giving every 10 minutes, then the underscore time will not be changing, right? So for an example, let's say I have two underscore times, something like this one, let's say 23rd. So today is 12th December 23rd 2019, right? And let's say 11:00:00. I have the first event, the underscore time is this one, and the second event I got just 10 minutes after this one. Okay, so that means 11:10 over here. Okay, so now if we apply bin on these two dates over here, let's say span equals to 1 day. Okay, so what it will do, basically bin will normalize these two dates. So this one will be becoming something like this one, so beginning of the day, something like this one. Okay, even this one, the second event underscore time is will also become something like this one. Okay, so it is basically each and every, for whatever today's date we have. Okay, so it will all convert it to the same date. Similarly, for if we have something for tomorrow, let's say this one, let's say for 24th we have something. Okay, so it will convert it to 24th, beginning of the day, something like this one. Okay, so this is how bin command works. Okay, so we will see in future videos, like in very detail, how bin command works over here. Okay, but I think you got the idea over here, right? So that is what we'll be doing it over here. See, this is the span equals to 1 day underscore time. That means for each and every underscore time we'll be calculating the 1 day. Now for our underscore time, we already have 1 days of stuff right over here, because we do not have, like, our events are not receiving we are not receiving events very closely, like in each and every second or each and every minute, right? So basically whenever we are completing the task, we are creating an event over here, right? So almost we have 1 day. Now another command is called make continuous over here. Okay, so that one is basically making this particular date continuous. That means it is filling the gap over here. If you see, after 15 we have the next event we got on 18th over here, right? So the 16th and 17th date are missing over here, because I want to know the number of days over here, right? So that's why I'll be adding those two in by using the make continuous over here. Okay, now before running these two commands over here, okay, so let me now add a stats over here. Why I am doing this? Because stats count by, so if I just see my intention over here, okay, let me remove this two command first and then we'll run the stat first. Okay, now if you see, for each and every date I am generating a count over here, right? Now if I can just fill the dates, intermediate dates over here, then I can just give the sum of the count, so that I'll basically count the total number of days over here. So that's my intention over here. Okay, so now if I just add this bin and make continuous over here, so let's see how they works over here. Okay, if you see, after 15 this 16 date has been added by make continuous. Okay, but the count is null over here, because make continuous do not add any values over here. It just fill the dates, intermediate dates over here. Similarly, for after 19 it has added 20 and 21 as well. Okay, so similarly after 23rd it has added 24 as well over here. Okay, now if I just fill this null values with 1, my job will be done, right? So I can just take the sum of this count over here, because I know each and every day I'm getting maximum of, for let's say if we just talk about very simplistic scenario over here, for each and every task we are getting a particular date over here. Okay, we are not going to the complexity, right? If we complete more than one task, what will happen? Yes, it is a possibility, but we are talking about a very simplistic scenario here. Okay, so in those cases maybe we have to deal with some differently, but we just try to understand how fillnull works over here, so we will not make these situations complicated. Okay, so now if I just do a fillnull, okay, fillnull, and what the value will give value equals to 1. Then what field we are applying the fillnull is called count over here. Okay, so if I just run this one now, if you see, this null values has been replaced by 1 over here. If you do not mention this count, what will happen? Let's see that one. If you see, for all the fields, fillnull has replaced with 1 over here, which we do not want currently. Okay, so we will just give the count field over here. Okay, so now we will just, it's a simple stats, right? Sum of count as total number of total days, let's say. Okay, so this will be the total number of days we took to complete those 2 projects over here. Now another thing I have seen for the fillnull command is, if you give any other field name which does not exist in your event, let's say I'm giving a field name called field1 over here. Okay, so let us remove this one. I just wanted to explain you that one part as well, and sometimes this particular thing is very much helpful. Okay, so let's see what happening. This field1 does not exist in my event over here, right? But if you see, fillnull is creating that particular field and filling with that particular value as well over here. Okay, I have felt sometimes this particular behavior is very much helpful. Okay, when you do not know the field name or the value of that field, but you still want to create that particular field beforehand, maybe in those cases you can use fillnull and with that particular field name. Okay, so that you can create the field beforehand. Okay, so sometimes this particular stuff is very much helpful. Okay, so it's added one. Now let's say let's go to filldown over here. Okay, so now if I just change, let me remove this fillnull now. Okay, I remove that make continuous as well. Okay, so now if I just say, we calculated the total number of days we took to complete these 2 projects over here, right? Now what if I just wanted to know the task level, like what each and every task has taken to complete, how many days it taken to complete each and every task over here. Okay, so in those cases, again, if you want to solve that particular problem using fillnull, it will be a problematic one, because you do not know what to fill over here, right? In these cases, because if you see this line number, first line over here, so this is the task number 1 over here. It started over here, right? So now if you see it over here, so we started the task 11 over here. Okay, it went for next 2 days, like 15, 16 and 17. Then we started the task 1, 2 over here, right? And that day itself we completed the task over here, right? So for task 1 it should be 3 days. For 1 2 it will be single day. Similarly for 1 3 it will be 3 days again, right? So that means we have to fill these gaps with this task 1 details. Similarly you have to fill these gaps with this task 1 3 details, right? So that means whatever the last known not null value we are having in our data, we want to fill the next null values, all the null values, with the last known values of it, right? In those cases, filldown is helpful. Okay, so filldown, if I just read the documentation over here as well, replaces the null values with the last not null value of a field or a set of fields over here. Okay, now here we can give the wildcarded field list over here. If you see WC field list, that means if you have similar field names, you can use wildcarded characters as well for the input of the field none over here. Okay, so if I just give fill down over here, so if I just give fill down, then project ID all those 4 columns, let's say. Okay, project ID, project name, task ID, and task name, and the count as well, right? Because here we are talking about a very simple scenario where my count will be 1, right? If you see now, when I run this one for the 16th and 17th, it filled with task 1 over here. Similarly for 20th and 21th, it filled with 13 over here, right? Now we can use simple stats, stats count, sorry, sum of count. Similarly we did for sum of count, okay, by task name over here, or let's say I'll give project name and task name over here. Okay, so for each and every project, each and every task, it will just calculate the how many days it took to complete the task over here. Okay, so hopefully you understand the scenario for fill down over here. Okay, but one thing you need to make sure over here, when you use fill down, let me tell you that part over here as well. Okay, so when you want to use fill down, okay, you have to just remember that it will just replace whatever it got the previous event which is having not null values. Okay, so in this case, if you see, my data are already in sorted order for different projects, right? So if I just remove the fill down over here, according to my date, my projects are already sorted out, right? If you in your case it is not sorted out, maybe you need to sort it first, so that you can get this kind of data, then only you should use fill down. Okay, so it has to be like, you need to understand what it will replace for this null values over here, and then accordingly plan your code and data over there. Okay, so hopefully this video is helpful, and wishing you all Merry Christmas and advance Happy New Year. Stay blessed, take care, thank you, see you next year. Maybe this year I'm not going to post much now. Okay, enjoy your holidays, see you next video.